Good evening, all. Happy slap to those of you who've got a drink, be it tea or something stronger. This is a short, unscheduled video, just to update you about the fact that tomorrow, it's late, okay? It's coming up to 20 to 11 on Tuesday the 30th of April. Tomorrow is Wednesday the 1st of May. Excuse me. And largely thanks to the audience of this channel and the influence that's having in the estate agency industry, I have been invited to the head offices of Propertymark by their boss, Nathan Emerson, tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, get up very early, 5 o'clock in the morning, get in the car, 3.5 hour drive up to Warwick to spend most of the day. And I'm very grateful for that invitation, and I'm grateful to you guys. Thank you for making this channel something that means that invitation came out to me. Now, why am I talking about it on video? Because this channel is all about trying to make moving home easier and trying to help buyers and sellers and agents to have an easier time of moving, because it is a godforsaken shit fight for everyone involved at the moment, and that's just not necessary. And it's mostly down to vested interest and inertia, keeping things the way they are because it suits certain companies. So Propertymark used to be called the National Association of Estate Agents, and it's the largest membership organization of estate agents in the country. It's got, I think, 12,000 offices and nearly 18,000 individual members paid up. So it's a sizable organization. It's been around for a very long time. I've actually had dealings with them in the past as a software supplier to estate agents going back a long way. So I have dealt with Nathan's predecessor going back a couple of times. Now, the thumbnail on this video is talking about house prices, and I'm very keen to hear everything that Nathan wants to talk about tomorrow, but the main thing I want to talk about is how can the country's largest estate agency professional body help stop overvaluing? Because overvaluing is killing transaction volumes. And in fact, in the words of one of Propertymark's members, senior panel members, an agent herself, overvaluing is killing the industry. And my position is that Propertymark's public stance on housing market and house prices is out of date and actually doesn't help the overvaluing problem, because generally speaking, they're always and I'm being generous here, they're always tilting towards the optimistic side of talking about how the housing market is doing. Now, they've also got Phil Spencer, who's now their public promoter, the sort of public consumer face of Propertymark. He's openly sponsored by them on their website. And Nathan Emerson, the boss, and Phil Spencer sit down on a regular basis to discuss the housing market. And whenever they do, I'm always left, and apparently a lot of people in the comments are always left with the impression that they're just talking up the market, and they sound like vested interest boys. And that's okay. That in itself is not a problem, except for the fact that constant messaging of everything's okay, everything's fine, keep buying property, is what has led us to the ridiculous standoff between sellers and buyers on price, and has led to, among other things, 2023 being the worst year on record for housing transactions, according to HMRC. I think I'm right in saying. Now, how am I going to go about this? Because I'm genuinely going to be... So something else happened today. I have announced a date to estate agents. And if you're an estate agent watching this, please get your phone out right now and go to your diary, your calendar, and put in Thursday, the 27th of June. Thursday, I'll put it in the live chat here. So Thursday, 27th of June. Thursday, 27th June. And we're going to call it Best Agent Day. You need to have it in your diaries because Thursday, 27th of June is going to be an event which all agents can participate in from wherever they want. But it is going to be the most significant event of all time in the estate agency industry's history. Now, that's a bold claim. But the reason it's going to be the biggest is because I am hoping and expecting it's going to be the best attended. And what we're going to do on that day is try to show what can be done, what can actually be achieved with the use of technology and a large group of estate agents who want something to be improved. Because one of my biggest complaints about Propertymark and other industry organizations is that in the 25 years I've been working in this industry, all they've ever done is talk and talk and talk. And they've had lots of events and conferences and meetups, and everyone comes along and talks, and everyone has a nice time, and that's all great, but nothing's ever achieved. Like, almost nothing is ever achieved. Now, Nathan Emerson is a relatively recent new boss there, and so he's not responsible for the previous 20 years. He's also an experienced estate agent himself, an award-winning estate agent, a partner of an agency called Pigott and Crone that was an award-winning agent. And so he's a very experienced agent. He knows his stuff. But knowing how to run an estate agency is not the same as knowing how to message on behalf of the industry to the consumer. And I think that's where Propertymark is getting it wrong. And now, it's quite important to point out that Propertymark's main activity is training and professional qualifications for estate agents. And in that, it is excellent. It's got very good training, good qualifications, and I've always recommended to all of my estate agency clients that haven't done those exams to do it, because it can't hurt, it can only help, you can only learn stuff. And actually, when it boils down to the difference between two agents, you can't decide they're both very good, and one's got professional qualifications and one hasn't. You're probably going to go for the one with the professional qualifications. However, my problem with Phil Spencer's messaging and Propertymark's messaging is that you shouldn't use an agent unless they are a Propertymark agent, because Propertymark agents with professional qualifications are obviously going to be better and you're not going to be problems with them. And that is just not true, right? Because the following three things are happening despite the professional qualifications. Number one, overvaluing is as rampant and rife as ever, even from agents who have Propertymark qualifications. Number two, no amount of qualifications stops you being a dishonest person, right? And there are as many dishonest agents in any one group as there are in any other group. So it doesn't solve that problem. And number three, the public's number one complaint as customers of estate agents is poor communications. And nothing that I'm aware of that Propertymark does trains on that particular problem either. So I don't agree that if you're trying to sign up to an agent, you should only go to a Propertymark agent. I don't agree with that at all. But I do think that their training is good, and I support their training. So I'm going to be asking him several questions, including the fact that, because on the 27th of June, Thursday, the 27th of June, which unfortunately for my moving audience, I'm afraid it is an estate agency only day, estate agents only event, and only agents who are registered to attend will be able to attend the live event. It's online, but it'll be live. I'm going to be inviting Nathan to participate in that event on behalf of Propertymark and state Propertymark's position on the problem of overvaluing and how it's hurting transactions, and why all agents should collectively agree to stop doing it. All agents would benefit if that was the case. Yes, you'll get a few idiots that will keep on doing it because, oh, everyone else has stopped, so we'll do it. But there are ways of dealing with that problem. And so that's one of the things I'm going to be asking Nathan tomorrow when I go and see him. And I don't know how the day's going to go. I don't know what plans he's got for me, what we're going to do. We're going to have some private discussions. He's going to and let me know about some things that they're doing which are not public knowledge, which is really, really cool. And I'm grateful, genuinely grateful for the invitation. And I have nothing against Nathan as an individual, as a human being, fantastic guy. Um, I just have some differences of opinion on the approach from a messaging point of view from that organisation. And again, that's also based on a lot of feedback from my estate agency clients over the years, from whom I have only heard mostly frustration about Propertymark as an organisation. So I think there's an opportunity for Propertymark to do something that's more helpful to its members and to the public. So, um, but thank you guys for making this channel into something that is of significant enough influence that I've ended up getting this invitation as a result. John McLeod, thank you very much. That's kind of you. Um, just checking for any quick questions. That's all pretty much I wanted to talk about. And I'm going to be doing a bit of filming of this trip. Probably not a live stream of it, but a bit of filming of the trip to report back on whether or not you, my audience, have helped me to have any influence on Propertymark's position to try and stop overvaluing, which literally disadvantages everybody. Hello, Marcus, Abigail. Nate, I'm not sure I understand what your question is. Could you just reword that question? Okay, Dan on X asks, don't you think it's the banks that control the valuations? So, overvaluing is something that's carried out by estate agents when they are talking to an owner about the potential value of the house, but they're not actually qualified valuers. The word valuation is kind of wrong. It shouldn't be used by estate agents unless they are going for a professional valuation, which they don't do. The banks pay licensed and qualified valuers to go out and carry out valuations of properties, usually after a deal has been agreed. So banks don't control the valuations. I mean, they will control what they lend, of course. Do we have, this is a very short video, guys, but do we have any other quick questions? Yeah, I mean, it's roughly speaking, the overvaluing is about 20%. I mean, for example, look at Rightmove. So Rightmove's asking price index is an actual index. I mean, I call it the overpricing index because it's an index that is made up of only newly listed asking prices before price reductions happen. So that's, I think, 373,000 is their average, and the land registry's average is 280,000 or 85. So there's an 80,000 pound difference, more than 20% overvaluing right there. But the problem is it really, really affects sellers. It affects sellers, it affects buyers, because and there was an agent in yesterday's live stream, the day before, someone talking about an agent saying after the buyer's lender had downvalued the property by 10,000, the agent went, oh yes, that's happening all around the place. The lenders are downvaluing all these properties, which means these estate agents are overvaluing all of them, doesn't it? Abigail Zoe on Facebook says, I have to ask, who is really interested in Phil Spencer other than he's been on dated TV show? I think I don't. My position with Phil is okay. Personally, got no problem with it at all, right? But and I also think his TV show location is it's fun, it's interesting, that's helpful, and I've got no problem with that. But when he starts advising on estate agents, he's out of his lane, I think. And the advice he gives is, knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know, but it is not helpful. Because despite his fame, fortune, and being a household name, it still hasn't helped anyone make a better choice of agent and avoid the pitfalls of choosing the wrong agent. So part of what's happening on the 27th of June is is to do with the best agent public house price index and reporting exchange prices. So someone's asked a question about do we need to see prices anchored to the bank's values? No, I don't think so, because prices are, the market should be left unfettered. The market should be allowed to do what the market does. But what we should be able to see, because it happens in other countries and the information is out there and it would help everybody, is that we should be able to see actual exchange prices as they happen pretty much. And if that's what we could see, then overvaluing would disappear. It would stop almost overnight as soon as exchange prices are published and available for people to see and make comparisons with what they think they should be selling their house for. Ruth says, I might have overpaid slightly. Hope Charlie doesn't see that. Busted. But I needed a home and didn't want to leave that to someone else. Right, listen, Ruth, if you could afford it, if that hasn't put you at risk, then you secured the home. You haven't overpaid. If you're happy with the price you paid and you got the home. Quick question, please, says Fun Time Shorts. Having recently had an offer accepted to buy, is it worth renegotiating if rates drop? Do you mean prices drop for completion? If rates drop, and they might want to be asking for more money, renegotiations should only happen because you are no longer willing to pay the price you have agreed. Because if you begin a renegotiation, you are risking losing out on the property. Okay, but if you're no longer happy with the price you've paid, then you must renegotiate or walk away. Simon Hill, that's an interesting. What area is that, Simon? My search area on Rightmove had 99 properties in early December. Now has 183 properties this week. I don't think there are twice as many buyers for those. I'm actually just going to remind you guys of the best agent. Let me just share this page with you, just briefly, and I'll put a link to it if you want to go and have a look at it. So in the live chat here, it's bestagent.news. And this is this is the page where we are slowly but surely putting together what I'm hoping is going to be much more helpful, much more useful. Can I get it to zoom in? I can never get the zoom right on this bit. Drives me nuts. Got it there? Yes. So this is median and average asking prices for England. And this is as of 29th of April, so yesterday, as of yesterday. And what we've done here is we've separated out sold properties, as in the ones that are still publicly showing as sale agreed, so they haven't actually exchanged or completed yet, but they're marked as sale agreed. So that's this line here. And so that to me is the most important set of data about asking prices, because it's showing you the asking prices of properties that are going under offer. Now, this does not show you the sold price. That's the problem. It's not showing the exchange price or even the sale agreed price. It's only the asking price of properties that are showing as under offer. But the important point to note here is look at the difference between the median. So comparing line 1 with line 2 here, because for sale, the next row down, this row here, is all the stuff that hasn't sold. Okay, that's the stuff that's sitting there unsold. That's everything on the market in England. Everything that's for sale on the market that's not showing as sold. All right, so you got the size of the data set there. 270,000 homes showing for sale in England, with a median asking price of £345,000. Now, the median asking price of properties showing sale agreed is £55,000 lower than that. And the sale agreed price is likely to be lower than that, but we don't know that yet. But that's why this line down here, the exchanged price, very, very small sample so far, this is where, and by the way, if you're trying to add your video, if you're trying to add your house price to the exchange price index, thank you very much. It's currently down while we're doing some work to upgrade it, ready for much larger numbers of properties come on, right? But this is going to show the median and average of exchanged prices. So hopefully that will be a much more accurate figure. And when we have enough volume of properties reporting that, getting that from estate agents and from conveyancers, we'll be able to offer that data locally to estate agents and to movers. Now, we're not talking about publishing anyone's individual address. Nobody wants that, even though that becomes public news. That does become public information when your property's sale is completed at the land registry. There's no need to actually identify individual properties. But by collecting the exchange prices as an area, we can start to get an up-to-date, accurate price of what things are actually selling for. So what 4-bedroom detached houses are selling for, what 3-bed semis in that postcode are actually exchanging for. And with that data available to everyone who's concerned, it makes it overvaluing impossible, because well, I won't go into it, but that's the idea, right? So this will equip good, honest, transparent agents with the tools to stop the lying, deliberately overvaluing agents from doing it. Now, some of you might say, "Hang on, don't all estate agents overvalue?" And the answer is probably, truthfully, that most of them do, yes, but you can break them down into the ones who do it on purpose as a strategy to win more instructions and don't care. They are deliberately saying, I'll quote the words I've never forgotten my mate who used to work at Foxtons in the 90s said, where overvaluing was basically born in the Foxtons Notting Hill office in the 90s. They were told by their boss at the time, John Hunt, the owner of Foxtons, tell them whatever they need to hear to sign up. Tell them whatever number they want to hear. It doesn't matter. Just say whatever number they want to hear as long as they go with us. And it worked. It was the strategy that launched Foxtons like that, as over-optimistic sellers all over London. I mean, Foxtons only sold 1 in 4 of the properties back in those days by their own admission. But it worked like a charm. They work like an absolute charm. And that has grown and grown and grown for 30 years. And so more and more agents started doing it. And now it's become rife and mainstream, and large corporations do it. So they're the bad ones that do it on purpose. Then you've got the ones who reluctantly have to overvalue because they know that if they don't, the seller won't give them their instructions, and they've got no houses to sell. Then you've got the ones who work extra hard to persuade a seller that the other agents are overvaluing, and it's very difficult for them to do this because there's no data to prove it. But if they can prove it well enough, and if the seller is actually open-minded and listening, the really good agents will say, no, they are definitely overvaluing, because here is recent proof of something that I can show you that shows there's no chance of getting that price for your house. And the really good agents will say, I'm not going to sell your house if you insist on an unachievable price, but come back to me if you can't sell it with the others. And often people do that, and they come back later. It's then harder to sell, and the market's fallen further. So overvaluing kills transactions, and therefore hurts agents' income, hurts sellers' chances of selling, and makes it harder for buyers to buy. It's just a complete waste of time. Looking at for questions quickly, and then I'm going to wrap up and go, guys. Simon Hill says, what is SPRIFT? Agents use it to try to justify prices. So I don't talk about this much on this channel. I do talk about it to agents because it's a massive problem. There is this entire, what they call the lead gen industry, where even though the size of the market of the number of people moving house cannot get any bigger, there are lead gen companies selling lead gen tech to estate agents to increase their market share and get more buyers. But of course, They're all using the lead gen tech, and so they're all fighting over the same size cake, and it's a zero-sum game that only the lead gen tech sellers are making money from, and Sprift is one of them. So all of that tech, that data that agents use to come around and justify their high prices, is skewed intentionally to help support higher valuations. None of it, as far as I've seen, has anything to do with showing actual prices. But if we can get rid of the land registry's delay and show actual paid prices as they happen, all of this will go away. Uh, da, 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 da. Amir Sheikh says, question, I'm struggling to come up with an offer for a house we like. On the market for 850,000, next door sold in 2021 for 510. There are only 3 sales on the same road since then, so not much to compare. Advice. Amir, it's the same advice I always have. Don't offer more than you think you could sell it for the next day, right? And whatever that number is, that should be your maximum comfortable offer. Make that offer. Just make your offer. Right? What's it worth to you to live in that house? How much do you love that house? How convenient is it for you, for family, for friends, for work? Is it your forever home? All of these factors weigh up how much. I don't know if you're paying cash or with a mortgage. No, I don't know any of these things. But basically, you've got to work out what it's worth to you and make that offer. I can't put a number on it for you. Jim Bob says, can someone please explain why prices rose so much since 2019? Yes, because during the pandemic, they created a stamp duty holiday, and everyone thought they wanted to move out of cities into the countryside, and nobody wanted to sell, everyone wanted to buy, and mortgages were very, very cheap, and COVID money was printed and dished out to everybody as well. So everyone had loads of spare money, so everyone could suddenly afford deposits, and so there was this rush of buyers up until it sort of ended at the end of 2021. I called the top. There's a video on this channel, on my channel homepage, from February 2022 when I said, I think I've just seen the top of the market. Oh, this is so frustrating. Blind Spots Traveler on YouTube says, been waiting 3 months to complete on a flat. I was purchase ready, everything in place. Vendors are really dragging their feet. How long should I wait before I reduce the offer price? I really want the flat. I don't know. You haven't told me whether the sellers are dragging their feet because they haven't found something to buy or not. But you just need to decide how long you're prepared to wait and tell them. And say, at this price, I'm not going to wait any longer than X date. And after that date, I'm either going to pull out or reduce my price. Don't make it up. Mean it when you say it. Because just say, I can't wait. There's too much uncertainty. But I mean, at least the market's moving in your favor, hopefully, depending on where you are. Steve Thompson asks, how often do you believe an agent advertising properties as offers over is overvaluing? Is it the same as offers in the region of? They really don't have a real meaning. They're just sort of signaling an intent. Offers over was originally invented for the sensible reason of agents who knew how to price properties correctly and would make that asking price a price that they knew it would get more than. And then other thick agents thought, oh, we'll just put offers over and everyone will have to pay more than that. And then they never price it and then they wonder why it sits there not selling. I was looking at properties on Best Agent today that have been sitting there on the market since, I don't know, summer last year at the same price. And advertisers offers over a price that's been sitting there for 9 months. Just stupid, just stupid. Right, guys, I'm calling it. That was just a quick one. Got to go. Very early start, and it's late. I'm up in 6 hours. Need to get to bed. Good to see you. And again, thank you for helping me get to the point where Propertymark are inviting me to talk to them. let's see what happens. See you soon. Good night, guys. See you well.